Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. Welcome to a special edition of the Astro Room here on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. All right. So, this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you will always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So happy Thursday. This is a little bit of an impromptu thing. There's a particular reason for this, but I was thinking that maybe this is something I should do a little more often because I always get asked certain questions about astrology, and I figure what time better than now than to do like an informal Q&A. So this is not anything that's going to be particularly structured, although there are two objectives that I have with this broadcast. So first I'm going to talk about Scorpio season because this Scorpio season is particularly intense and particularly special for the astrology that's going on. And I am just very much embodying Scorpio energy as of late, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So that's the first objective. The second objective is that I wanted to talk about my upcoming program, which is called Scorpio Season Soulwork Healing and Transformation Through Sound. And it starts this Sunday. It embodies everything regarding Scorpio season, and it sounds like the title. It's transformation and healing. Those are the two really big components of Scorpio energy. And so I'm doing this program where we will be together for 4 weeks and we will transform, we will heal, and we will do that using astrology and sound therapy, sound healing for those who are more familiar with that term. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about that, answer questions about that. And if you have any questions about astrology, period, or anything you want to know, this is definitely going to be the time to do that. So it's kind of like an office hours kind of vibe, I guess. But that's essentially what we're doing tonight. So without further ado, I guess we might as well get started, right? So, Scorpio season. Now, I'm a Virgo sun through and through, right? However, Scorpio season, I think, is probably my favorite season, apart from Virgo season, obviously. Um, so in terms of astrology, the one thing, well, not in terms of astrology, let's just say in terms of life, in terms of humanity, in terms of being a species, we evolve, right? Not only just from a fetus to an older person, right? But as a species, we evolve, right? And your astrology evolves with you. So the one thing that a lot of people may not know or may not put too much emphasis on is that you are obviously more than just your sun sign, okay? Clearly you're born at a certain time of the year, so of course that means that you're either a Virgo sun, Capricorn sun, Sag sun, whatever it is, right? And despite whenever we are born, because the zodiacal wheel represents the totality of us, we're all the zodiac signs, right? However, most people identify with their sun sign, right? The characteristics of their sun sign, the physical features, all of that good stuff. But your sun sign changes, your sun sign evolves, and that's called your progressed sun. So just like you progress in life from a baby to, an adult, right? Your sun sign progresses also. And so the sun takes about 30 years to go through a sign. And depending on where the sun is when you're born, right? So let's say you're born and the sun is at 1 degree of Gemini. It's going to take you 29 years for your sun to move into Cancer. If you're born at 15 degrees, if your sun is at 15 degrees of Gemini when you are born, in 15 years, your sun will move into Cancer, and now you are a progressed Cancer sun. I say all of this because evolution is one of the hot button words and a very major component of the Scorpio energy signature. And so, progression and your progressed chart has a lot to do with Scorpio season. And also, on a personal note, I'm a Virgo sun, but I am currently a progressed Scorpio, which is why I love Scorpio season so much, and which is why I embody Scorpio energy so much right now. And I have a little anecdote to share with you a little later on that really demonstrates that. But needless to say, astrology is life. Okay. And one of the big things, one of the big messages that I've been getting over the last, definitely, it's been really emphasized over the last 2 weeks. But when I really think about it, I've been getting this message consistently for the last 3 years is that there is a time for everything. Everything in nature has its place, everything in nature has its time, right? And so the Gregorian calendar, the calendar as we know it, January being the first month, December being the last month, is very much out of alignment with nature, right? A lot of the months were actually named after Roman emperors. Some of the months don't even really make sense. It's sort of this very arbitrary timetable that we as a society decided to adhere to, but it's not the way that nature works, right? And so I say this because this is the time of year when we start to feel it. And when I say it, what I mean is that the end of the year is in sight, right? We're right at the point of Halloween, then comes Thanksgiving, then comes Christmas, then comes New Year's, and boom, we're in a new year. And so now is when we start to think about the things that we want to change. I mean, especially if like you're an entrepreneur, you're definitely wrapping up fourth quarter, right? You've probably put your fourth quarter plans in place a little bit of time ago. And so now you're really working it. And now you've got your eyes and your mind set to Q1 2025, right? A lot of people are just like, listen, the end of the year is coming. Now you're thinking, okay, maybe this year didn't pan out the way that I wanted it to. Maybe I didn't achieve the things that I wanted to do. Maybe this year was a wash. January is coming up. So at that point, I'll have the opportunity to start something new, set New Year's intentions, all the things. We're all very much aware of those things, right? However, January is not the time when you make changes. As a matter of fact, January is the middle of winter. In the middle of winter, you're hibernating, right? January, particularly Capricorn season, Aquarius season, this is when you are hibernating. This is not necessarily the time to start something new, right? It is the start of the Gregorian calendar. So, of course, there's that collective newness that we've agreed upon. But nature wise, that is not the time for New Year's resolutions, right? The real New Year is the start of Aries season, which is in March. Okay. So if you want to set New Year's resolutions, that would be the time to do it if you're doing it according to the cycles of nature. However, when we think about New Year's resolutions, what do we think about? We think about change, right? We think about transformation. If it's a body transformation, right? What is the one New Year's resolution that almost everybody has? They want to get healthier or they want to lose weight. That's a body transformation. That's going from looking one way and feeling one way to looking another way and feeling another way. The sign, the energy that governs transformation is Scorpio. So when you want to make those changes, you would make them during Scorpio season. So rather than waiting for January to start going to the gym, you would go and you start during Scorpio season. Now, what's interesting is that I said before that I've been getting this kind of message for the last 3 years. And it really hit me today that it even was 3 years ago because since in the last 3 years, I have lost about 50 pounds. And there was a point in 2021 when I got serious about working out. And unbeknownst to me, it was right at the start of Scorpio season that I did that. And I didn't know, I didn't plan it at the time, right? I wasn't like, oh, it's Scorpio season, I'm going to change. It was like something within me was like, at that time, okay, now's the time to start. And at first it felt a little weird because, of course, I'm used to the whole setting a New Year's resolution and making changes January. So it's the middle of October, and I'm like, listen, I'm about to get on this weight loss journey. I'm working out regularly. I'm trying to eat better. And then I'm feeling anxious because the holidays are coming up. So I'm making these changes at a time when you're usually not used to making changes. At the end of the year, you're kind of just coasting, right? Whatever you've been doing for the entire year, whatever vibe you've been on for the year, that's sort of what you carry into Q4 of the year, right? Especially October, there's Halloween, then November, there's things with all the holidays. You're not really about change. You're kind of just enjoying whatever those holidays bring. But Scorpio season is meant for change and change in a way that can stick. I have to be honest. When I started implementing changes in my life in Scorpio season, that's when those changes actually stuck. As opposed to when I tried to do them in January, I would start and stop and start again, or just start and stop and not start again. Like it was precarious. And that was because it's out of alignment with nature. So now is the time to be intentional about transforming your life. So I want to say the themes of Scorpio obviously is transformation, like I've just explained, it's evolution and it's conception. Okay. Those are the main sort of heavy hitter energy signatures of Scorpio, right? And so transformation. Now it's interesting because as this live started, I actually had to ask, is there a difference between evolution and transformation? Because they seem kind of the same, right? They seem like they would be the same thing, but they're not. And so, according to Siri, evolution and transformation are similar but different. Evolution is a gradual process that refers to the change of one species to another over time. Transformation is a more dramatic and sudden change, such as a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So, Scorpio embodies both evolution and transformation. Transformation is that sudden change, like I just said, the metamorphosis of the caterpillar going to the butterfly, right? But it's also a slow evolution. And if you follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should, all right, the other day I posted the evolution of Scorpio and how there's three phases of Scorpio. There's the scorpion, there's the eagle, and there's the phoenix. So the scorpion is the very base level scorpionic energy, and it can be very vindictive. It's very much in its feelings. It feels disempowered. It can be very defensive, right? Think of sort of the generic characteristics that people give to Scorpio, right? The scorpion has the stinger. And so whenever it feels threatened or vulnerable, the scorpion will sting you, right? That's how people who have prominent Scorpio energy at the base level, that's how they operate. That's the instinctive level of Scorpio. Then we move up a notch and we go to the eagle. And the eagle is all about wisdom and sight and clarity. So you've transcended the pettiness of the emotions and you've gone to a higher level of consciousness. Your vantage point is a lot broader. Think about how an eagle soars, how it soars over the forest and how it can see almost everything. That is the second level of Scorpio in terms of its evolution. And then the final level is the phoenix. Now, we all know that the phoenix rises from the ashes. So, what could seemingly destroy the phoenix is actually what gives it life. And so, at that stage of evolution, Scorpio is enlightened. Okay. And so there's an evolution in Scorpio and there's an evolution in us. So I say that to say that during Scorpio season, you can definitely engage in transformative activity in a certain Scorpio season. So again, to use the example of weight loss, you decide that I want to lose weight, I want to start working out. You can make those changes and transform during Scorpio season. But then what you'll come to understand, especially in terms of fitness and nutrition, it goes a lot deeper than just how you physically look. It's about how you feel physically and mentally and emotionally. Whenever you're working on any of your bodies, your emotional body, your physical body, your light bodies, the other bodies invariably end up being affected. And so, what you realize is when you're on this weight loss journey, it's not just for a season, it's not just to fit into an outfit for an occasion. Now you're bettering your life. And that's where you get into evolution. And that evolution can take place over several Scorpio seasons. Remember what I just said before in reading the definition? It's like evolution is the gradual change of one species into another, whereas the transformation is quick and sudden. And so the fact that Scorpio embodies both of these means that you can engage in both of these things. And do you see and can you understand and can you comprehend how life changing this energy is? Then that brings me to my second point regarding Scorpio, which is life and death. Okay. Now, Scorpio is very familiar with darkness. Okay. Darkness, silence, death, and endings. Things that make many people uncomfortable, right? I mean, just look at how we live our lives. We're constantly on our phones, we're constantly communicating. Silence is something that almost feels like a luxury nowadays, right? That's why meditation is so important. But that's another story for another day. But silence, darkness, right? Darkness when you can't see, when you can't perceive anything. That's when people tend to get scared and anxious because they can't see what's in front of them. There's a lack of sight, right? And then you have death and endings. Nobody likes death. Death is a scary thing. It's a sad thing, but it's also a natural part of life. So all of the things that make us uncomfortable are all of the things that are natural to Scorpio. This is the time when you really embrace those things because that's where transformation and evolution live. It's not just pretty Pinterest boards and saying affirmations and vision boards. No, it's about the darkness within, the silence within, the things in our life that need to die. Think of it this way, with planting and with crops, right? Every year you plant seeds or however regular interval you plant seeds, that seed sprouts, it flowers, it blooms, you collect the fruit or the flower or whatever it is, but then that plant withers and at some point it dies. And that death is not only part of the natural cycle, it leaves room for new to regenerate. Even though Scorpio is dark, even though Scorpio is about death and endings, it is also about rebirth, regeneration. The darkness is where a lot of things live. And that's why it's very dangerous almost to really just always focus on the light, the light, the light, the light. Yes, the light has a very important place, but so does the darkness. So does the silence, right? It's like the darkness is where things grow. Think about when you plant a seed. Think about, a child that's gestating. Think about the story of creation in the Bible. It was darkness that created the light. It was darkness that created the world. Creation comes from darkness. That's why you'll find that in a lot of religions, there is very much a focus on light because there's a much smaller emphasis on your own powers of creation, because your own powers of creation lie dormant in your own darkness. And it's up to you to open that basement door and walk down there, as scary as it may be, right? Because there's a lot of interesting things that live in our own personal darknesses, right? Trauma, fears, insecurities, the things that we hide from the world. We all wear a mask at some point. We all want to show up as our best selves. And there's no place better to see this than on social media. You're seeing the best of people. I mean, some people will put their worst out there too, but that's few and far between. You're seeing curation. You're seeing understand this in terms of astrology. Let me put it this way. Instagram is a Libra. Libra loves a good aesthetic. Libra will show you their best side, their most palatable side. Whereas Scorpio is like, I don't want any of that pretty shit. I want the realness. And the realness encompasses the beauty, but also what we deem ugly, what we deem unsavory, what we deem negative about ourselves. It is not until you actually acknowledge your darkness, acknowledge your shortcomings, acknowledge what you don't like about yourself, what you ignore about yourself, what you've been through. That's when you start to make real change that you can't go back from. And honestly, that's the kind of change that most people want. Think of it this way. You want to change your money situation, and boom, you win the lotto. And all of a sudden, overnight, you are a millionaire. And then 2 years later, you've lost it all. You didn't want, it's like you thought that the money is what would make the permanent change. No, baby. What makes the permanent change is your belief about money, how you think about money, how you think about a lot of things, how you think about yourself. That's the change that you needed to make to be able to hold on to that million. That's why when you're doing all the things in January and when you're doing your vision boards and your affirmations and all that, surface level. That's why you'll have results that are hot and cold. That's why you'll have things that are here today, gone tomorrow. Scorpio season is like, I am giving you 4 weeks to go into the basement where it's dark, where you've got things down there that you haven't examined in the longest time, where you've got things that you are deathly afraid of, where you've got things that hurt so bad you never wanted to address them ever again. But here's the thing. When you shed light on those things, they are no longer scary. They're not taking up space that could otherwise be used for the things that you want. Imagine a basement that's full of antique stuff that you don't want. You know, you want to have a brand new house with modern minimalist furniture, but you've got a basement that's full of furniture from the 70s. And I'm talking about a lot of it. And this basement has wood paneled walls, a whole bunch of mirrors, ugly puce green carpet, rocking chairs, TV consoles, things that are so outdated, things that you don't want in your new home. But they're taking up space and you got to move with them, right? But what if you got rid of them? Scorpio season and shadow work is like holding a garage sale to get rid of all of that furniture that you don't want to take into your new house. But guess what? In order to have that garage sale, you got to go in that basement and pull that shit up and put it in your driveway, right? You got to address it. You got to look at it. You got to figure out how valuable it is because it's a garage sale, right? You got to figure out how much you're going to charge for each piece of furniture. That's what shadow work during Scorpio season is like. And then when you put it out in the driveway, when you put out that furniture, right? You're like, this wasn't that bad. You might even find some things that you still want to keep because they're valuable to you. Maybe they have sentimental value. Maybe they look good. Maybe you have perhaps a little bit of a retro theme that you're going with and you're like, oh, I could take this. But you're not going to know that until you go down into the basement and look at all the furniture that's down there. right? So that's what Scorpio allows you to do. And when you do that, now you've sold all of that furniture that you no longer need. Now you've got room and hopefully a little cash to buy some new stuff, some new modern minimalist furniture like you see on Pinterest or HGTV, right? Right. Trust and believe me when I say, and I say this because I've done it. When you do the work, your life changes permanently. That's how Scorpio rolls. Scorpio isn't about shit that just looks good or change for right now. Because Scorpio is willing to do the dirty work, that dirty work pays off tenfold. Because now you're new, now you're different, now you're refreshed, now you are reborn. Scorpio is purification by fire and like baptism all in one. But it requires you to burn what no longer serves you. And that's exactly what this season is all about. And then when you burn what no longer serves you, Scorpio is like, oh, guess what? We get to create something new. Because Scorpio also rules sex. Sex is all about regeneration. It's about proliferation, right? So Scorpio's like, all right, we did that hard work. That like really sucked. It was difficult. I was really in my feelings, all that stuff. And then it's like, oh, now we get to create something new. Maybe we get to have fun and have sex and create a baby. Or we can create a different kind of baby. We can use our sacral chakra to create our deepest desires. Because guess what? Everything about Scorpio is so scrumptious when it comes to creation. Clearly, sex is meant to be a scrumptious thing, right? Something that's desirous, beautiful, passionate, right? That's how Scorpio likes it. Scorpio likes it in a variety of ways, but it's got to be deep and it's got to be passionate. And when we talk about manifesting and changing during Scorpio season, baby, it's the stuff that you really want. It's not just, oh, it'd be nice to pay some bills. It's like, no, baby, I want that 7-figure business. I want that Bentley. I want that $1 million house. Scorpio plays for keeps. So whatever we're creating right now, oh, we're holding on to it because it's changing our lives. Why? Because we've changed. We've changed our lives. And so that's the essence within which we are creating during Scorpio season. So Scorpio season is about endings, beginnings, evolution, transformation, regeneration, and conception all rolled into one. It is a time of the year where the nights get longer, right? Starts to get darker earlier. It's a time when we really start to hunker down in autumn, at least here in the Northern Hemisphere, right? It's such a juicy time. And I say that intentionally because Scorpio energy is so juicy. It's just so sumptuous. It makes you, it requires you, it urges you to dive deep into the waters of yourself. Because guess what? Think of it this way. All of the deep sea treasure is in the deep sea, right? Look at how many people have lost their lives to go down to the bottom of the ocean to where the Titanic is just to pilfer, right? Treasure is at the bottom of the ocean, and Scorpio knows this. And Scorpio has its scuba gear on, excess oxygen tanks, because it wants to go deep because that's where the treasure is. All of what you want, everything that you desire, everything that you're passionate about is deep within you. And Scorpio season allows you to meet yourself at that depth. It's really life-changing energy. And I wish that people would talk about it more. Yes, it's spooky season. And yes, there's a whole element of the dead. Oh, of course, there's another thing. During Scorpio season, we have the Day of the Dead, We honor the dead. We honor those who have passed, who are physically 6 feet under, but spiritually beyond the veil. And it's when the veil is the thinnest. And it shows us the cycle of life and how that cycle keeps going even after the physical has gone, right? So yes, it's pumpkin spice and Halloween and all that shit. It's deeper than that. It's when you can literally change your life. And I don't use that phrase loosely as something that sounds gimmicky. I say that to say that this is the time when you can make changes. And you kind of want to do it in a bold way. That's because astrologically speaking, Scorpio is ruled by 2 planets. It is ruled by Mars and it is ruled by Pluto. And so Mars is all about initiation. Mars is the sperm swimming up to the egg. Mars is that firecracker energy that's bold, that's risky, and that's impulsive, right? So it's really about doing something you've never done before, to have something you've never had before. It's about taking a risk, taking a chance, being risky, and doing something that would really change your life. Aren't you tired? Aren't you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Aren't you over it? Don't you want it to be different? Now is the time. Don't wait until January. January is going to be too late. January it's going to be 10 times harder to do it in January than it is now. Although doing it now has its challenges because again, Scorpio makes you confront things that you most likely may not want to. But that's as hard as it gets. And then that's what begins your evolution. And this particular Scorpio season is special because the ruling planet of Scorpio, Pluto, is going to be moving into Aquarius for good. Now, I'm going to talk about this in more astrology jargon when I do the monthly astro forecast for November, which is next week. However, suffice it to say, when Scorpio's ruling planet is going into Aquarius, the sign of the future, it's letting you know that the future is here. And so if you're not making the changes now, then when are you? Like legit, when are you going to make those changes if not now? Because things are going to start to move a lot quicker. And it's going to be a lot harder for you to get your footing, to gain your footing if you're trying to move with the future and still make changes. Remember what I said, evolution begins with this Scorpio energy. The transformation starts now, but the evolution continues. But the evolution also starts now as well. So this is going to be a really interesting Scorpio season because we are moving into a new era. We had a taste of this earlier in the year when Pluto initially moved into Aquarius, and that was January. So between January and September, we got a glimpse of what changes are to come. And now that Pluto will be moving into Aquarius for good. And when I say for good, the next time Pluto will be in Capricorn, which is where it's leaving, will be about 250 years from now. So will probably be long gone unless there's some sort of invention that allows us to stay alive for centuries, right? But the change is here. It's not coming, it's here. So what do you want your future to look like? Who do you want to be? What do you want to have? These aren't just pie in the sky questions that you ask yourself after January 1st. These are questions that you sit with now. Now, the thing with transformation during Scorpio season is that it can hurt. So I talked about the definition of transformation and how it's sudden change, like the butterfly emerging from the chrysalis, right? The caterpillar to the butterfly. Understand that when the caterpillar enters the chrysalis, it completely disintegrates. It becomes this blob, this mush, only to be reformed and restructured as a butterfly, right? And that's exactly what we do when we transform. We deconstruct. We die to who we were, only to be reborn as who we are to become. And that's a process. You know, the caterpillar doesn't turn into the butterfly overnight. It's a process. The process that goes day by day of disintegration, and then day by day restructuring, the essence of Scorpio energy. And so that's how this transformation goes down. It's not, when I say transformation is sudden, it's sudden as compared to evolution. Evolution can take lifetimes, right? Transformation can happen a couple of months, couple of years, right? So understand that it's a process. Be willing to undergo the process is what makes the difference. And again, Scorpio season gives you the energy. It's like the universe is saying, here, for these 4 weeks, give or take, this is your time to prioritize your transformation. And so, what does that look like? It looks like setting boundaries, right? Because the caterpillar, when it goes into a chrysalis, it's in an enclosed space, right? That's a physical example of a boundary. However, when you commit to this process, you're saying, okay, anything that's not in alignment with this transformation, I'm not going to entertain. I'm not going to allow myself to get derailed because this is a process and I'm willing to go the distance with this. It's not something that I'm just going to do today and then not do tomorrow, which is what a lot of us do in January. Because again, January is not the time for this kind of change, not the kind of change that you want. If you want something for a few weeks, then yeah, wait till January. That'll be fine, I guess. But if you're looking for real change, to have a different life, this is when you do it now. Don't wait. Scorpio season just started 2 days ago. And so we have literally 4 weeks from today, a little less, to make. And it's not to say that the change has to completely happen between now and 4 weeks, but you start the work. You do the work. You confront your shadow and you just keep doing the work going forward. And before you know it, you are transforming, you're changing. And on a broader scale, you're evolving. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful energy. And so that segues into my program, Scorpio Season Soulwork. And so everything that I just described is the energy with which we are working with during this 4-week process. So this program is 4 weeks. We meet once a week, every Sunday for about an hour, nothing too long. We discuss sort of what I'm talking about right now. I also discuss how the astrology for each of those 4 weeks will play into some of the things that we will do. Right? Every week is going to be different. You will have homework in terms of things to work on or things to focus on or things to direct your intention to. We will do breath work and then we will do some sound therapy. Now, the whole purpose of this program is to help you heal. So if you ever have visited my website, and you should, it's divinefeminineworks.com. The tagline is insight, healing, and manifestation. These are the 3 pillars upon which I build my business and upon which I do my work. The insight is astrology. Astrology allows you to see yourself, perceive yourself, understand yourself in accordance with nature. The healing is sound therapy. Sound therapy uses sound vibration in order to break up energetic blockages within our bodies. And I say bodies because it's not just your physical body. You've got a whole bunch of light bodies, and sound energy, sound vibration helps to break up stagnant, stale energy. Think of that example I gave before about that basement full of furniture, right? Sound therapy helps to turn on the lights. Sound therapy is like moving that furniture from the basement to the driveway so that you can sell it, right? Sound therapy breaks up blockages. And when you break up blockages, your chi, your energy, your life force energy is able to move freer, unobstructed. And that brings us to manifestation. The third pillar is manifestation. That's all about conscious creation. Now, all of those things are inherent in Scorpio season, right? There is a focus in this program on the sacral chakra. Now, the sacral chakra has everything to do with our worthiness, with our value, and with our ability to create. I said before that Scorpio rules sex, right? Well, in the body, Scorpio rules the reproductive organs. And so when we're talking about creation, we're talking about the reproductive organs, we're talking about the sacral chakra. So you will learn about the sacral chakra, you'll learn about the physical attributes of Scorpio energy as it relates to the body. We're going to do sound therapy and we're going to engage in practices that help us to manifest and consciously create the lives that we want. So this program is about healing, right? Because with the sound therapy, we are going to be bringing up blockages that have kept you stuck. And this may bring up repressed emotions that just need to be released. And then we're going to manifest. And we're going to learn and we're going to gather together, and it's going to be an amazing experience. This is the experience that is going to help jumpstart your transformation and your evolution. All right. So again, it meets for 4 weeks starting this Sunday on October 27th. Every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't make it for any reasons, the sessions will be recorded, so you'll be able to review them. But I highly suggest that you take the time to be there in person. Now, this is virtual. It's via Zoom, so not in person, but show up to the live sessions because that's when you'll get the most benefit. And not just that, you'll have access to a private online community where you can ask questions, commune with other attendees, and we can really go deeper into the work, especially if you have questions, if you want to share any revelations. It's a great way to help facilitate this process when you have community. So you will have access to my online exclusive community for this program. I am so proud of this program. I'm so excited to see how this could really manifest in people's lives and how people can actually change their lives for the better in the way that not only they want to, but that they are meant to. Okay, so if you're interested, the link will be in the description box below and tagged to this live. Registration will end Saturday night. Okay. Part of the program is that I pull your natal chart so we can see where Scorpio is in your chart and see what you may want to focus on during this transformative time. And so in order to do that, I'll have to close registration Saturday night. So you have until Saturday to sign up. And again, it starts on Sunday. All right. I'm super excited. I hope you guys will like it. And I definitely hope that you guys will sign up. And it's super affordable. It's only $80. Actually, it's $82, right? But for 4 weeks and all of the things that are being offered, it's very affordable. Okay. And I promise you, the results don't lie. So if you're interested, again, all of that information will be in the description box below and tagged to the video. So definitely sign up. And I'm looking so forward to seeing you in this program. It will literally change your life. And I'll talk about my experience with sound therapy and astrology and how they both seriously changed my life. It's going to be amazing. All right. So at this point now, I don't know how many people are in here or interested now. I will take some questions, whether it's about the program, whether it's about Scorpio season, whether it's about astrology. It's question time. All right. So if you have a question, definitely type it up in the chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, definitely put your question in the comment section because I'll still answer them there as well. All right. So if you have a question, if you've got anything to say, now is the time to speak up or forever hold your peace. All right. Hopefully that made sense because I can't tell you how amazing Scorpio energy is. I mean, it's not like I'm completely biased, right? All the zodiac energy, every single sign has a particular energy signature, which serves a particular purpose. And every 4 weeks, you get the opportunity to tap into the purpose for which that energy exists. There's something about Scorpio energy that's just, right? It's magnetic, it's alluring, it's everything. It's absolutely everything. All right, I do not see any questions so far. I'm going to give it like another 15 seconds. If you don't have a question, then I'm going to shut this down. Again, information is in the description box below, tagged to the video. Hit the comment section. If you have even more questions or want to address something privately, you can email me at hello@divinefeminineworks.com and I'll be sure to answer your question. Again, registration closes on Saturday night. All right, well, since there are no questions, I guess that concludes this live Q&A. I think the information I gave was good, so it's okay that there's no Q&A part, all right? But I thank you so much for tuning in. For those who are here live, if you're catching this on the replay, I appreciate you just as much, all right? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me talk about my favorite things: astrology, sound therapy, manifestation. All right, so until next time, my loves, peace.